Hello friends, welcome to part 4, the final part of the training on the IBM System I Configuration Management tool, Aldon. In this part I will be covering object movement and some advanced Aldon concepts. Let's start with object checkout. We have three parts here: request checkout, object checkout and emergency checkout. You can use option 13 for request checkout. Let's check. We'll start Aldon. We'll take option 1, work with objects by release. Now I can use option 13, request checkout, to create a checkout request. Press enter and to give a developer and task name. A small comment. So I see an R condition here. This R specifies that a request has been raised. I can also check this request from the Aldon main menu. If I take option 4, work with conditions, I'll be able to see this condition R. I'll go back to the menu again. Now you can use the checkout objects panel to check out objects. Select each object to be checked out with option 3. I'll take only one. And now you can press enter to check out the objects and press F16 to display objects dependent on objects initially selected for checkout. So if I press F16, first I'll fill up the task name. This panel shows me the list of dependent objects. So I see that one PGM CLLE type object is dependent on my module CLLE type object. I can also select particular object for checkout from this screen. I select this using option 1, and now I can see that two objects have been selected for checkout. I press enter and I can see that both these objects are in the development environment under developer demo DVP1. And the next is emergency checkout. In an emergency checkout, option 23, ACMS copies the object from the local or ancestral production environment even if there is a more recent active copy of the object in the local release. And when you promote an object checked out with the emergency checkout function, the object goes directly into the production environment of the release for which it was checked out, bypassing all testing environments. An acknowledgement condition is created to inform managers that normal testing was bypassed. If we take this object, demo CL3, I take option 23, checkout emergency. So I see that the object has been checked out and the emergency condition is Y. I'll just compile this object once. Select the development object. The object has compiled successfully. Now I take option 7 for promotion. Press enter. The object set promoted completely. Object promotion is completed normally. And if I take F5 for refreshing the screen, now demo CL3, I can see that the object moved directly from development to production, and I have an A condition here. This is the acknowledgement condition that I was talking about. This will help notify the manager that testing has been bypassed for this particular object and that this was checked out under emergency. So this was about object promotion, emergency checkout. Next we move on to object promotion. Here we have two parts, request promote and object promote. So I can request a promote using option 17. If I take 17 here, let's say request checkout. Maybe I'll have to delete the conditions first. Okay, so here on this object, if I take 17, I request to promote. Select the development environment. So I see a request condition being raised here. Now for object promotion, I can take option 7. It will ask me for the environments to pick from. I'll pick the development ones. I'll have to compile them first. Okay, so I take option 7 again for promotion and select the development objects. So promotion has completed normally. I refresh the screen and the object has moved to integration environment. So this way objects can be promoted from development to integration, integration to quality assurance, and finally from quality assurance to the production environment. Another promotion type we have here is promoting to parent release. 37 to request promote to parent, or you can use option 27 for promote to parent. Changing an object's production to object panel to move an object from one library group to another, move an object's source from one library group to another, move an object's source to a different source physical file, and move an object's source to a different source member. So if I take option 9 here, move, these are the things that I can change. I can change the object library group, the source library group, the source physical file, and the source member. Cancelling checkout and deleting object. You can use option 4 to confirm deletion of an object. For example, if I take option 4 here, I can confirm the deletion of objects. Now, and if the object is present in more than one environment, it will display me another panel asking me to select the environment from which the object needs to be deleted. If I select both the environments, it will be equal to deleting all copies of an object, and in such cases all copies of the object archived for that release from the application will also be deleted from the archive library, and Aldon will preserve only the log entries for this particular object. You must have worked with release definition authority for an application in order to delete the last copy of an object from a release of that application. Now we move on to some of the advanced Aldon concepts. We'll start with release management. This is a very important topic and because of shortage of time, I'll just give a brief about these topics. We go to the Aldon main menu and take option 13, work with release, and point to my demo application and select release demo fix. I'll use option 9, populate. Now these are the options that are available to me. Verify release. Now, this option is used to verify that mapping or loading is complete and accurate. This option must be checked periodically for integrity of release libraries. The verify function checks objects in a release against the Aldon object database and ownerships and authorities that have been defined with reference objects or Aldon default ownerships and authorities. Scan release. Scan a release to record requisite object information in the Aldon database. Aldon examines each object and records which objects are requisite to it at create time and which are requisite to it at execution time. This option is used for establishing object dependencies. Load release. This option is used to load source members and objects for the release into Aldon from libraries outside of Aldon. The load function copies source members and objects from outside libraries into libraries created for the production environment. Merge release. This option is used to merge release function to empty the contents of one release into another while intelligently controlling the disposition of objects present in both releases. The two releases must directly be related to each other. One release must be the parent of the other. You can merge a parent release into its child, or you can as well merge a child release into its parent. Copy release. You can use this option to copy source members and objects from other releases of the application already defined to Aldon into libraries for a new release. Map release. This option can be used to map source members and objects for the release in existing production libraries to bring them under Aldon control. The map function examines all objects in these libraries to build files which Aldon requires to manage the release. Clear release. You can use this option to confirm clearing of the release you are working with. Clearing a release clears the Aldon object database of all information recorded for objects in a release that has not yet been activated. In this case, the objects themselves will not be deleted. Activate release. This option is used to activate a release. Activation performs several internal functions, like it grants Aldon authority to the release, marks the release as active, which then allows for object checkout in Aldon. Merge release, copy release, map release and clear release options are available only if the release is still inactive. Once you activate a release, these options will not be available. This was about release management. We move on to working with archive objects. You can use option 3 from Aldon main menu to work with archive objects. If the archiving option is set at the application level, objects are archived as soon as they are replaced by new objects. Now we see 4 objects here. That means these objects have been replaced in the production environment, and these are the old copies. You can also delete these archive copies by taking option 4. Working with conditions. I have earlier briefed you about acknowledgement and request conditions. There are basically 3 types of conditions: acknowledgement, request and conflict. Acknowledgement conditions, like said before, are created when an object that was checked out using the emergency checkout function is promoted back into production. Request conditions are created when some user places object checkout or object promotion requests. Then there are conflict conditions, which are created when an object that is already in development is checked out again as a part of a multiple checkout operation, or when an active object is checked out as part of an emergency checkout operation. An active object is one which is present either in development, integration or quality assurance environments. Then you can check the conditions from the Aldon main menu, if you take option 4, work with conditions. Currently there are no conditions. So finally we reach the end, and to summarize, we have covered object movement here, like object checkout, object promotion, promoting to parent release, changing an object's production location, cancelling checkout, and deleting objects. Further, we discussed briefly about advanced Aldon concepts like release management, working with archive objects, working with conditions. Well folks, this brings us to the end of the final module for training on Aldon. I hope you liked it. This was really a pleasure for me to record this training for you. If you have any queries, any doubts, please feel free to contact me through email or same time using my email ID mentioned on the screen.